Alright, so welcome back to another version, the part 2 of Let's Create a Bullet Character. The last one I left off, I didn't create the legs, so we're going to go ahead and do that in this episode, and then I'll just finish it up. The next other episodes, basically every character that I model goes through different phases. First phase is modeling, and then the second phase would be armature, creating the armature. Third phase would be creating a ragdoll for the armature, and then the next phase would just be texture mapping, and the next phase after that would be animation, and it should all come together into Unity at the end. It should look pretty good. You'll see it all coming together. Now it's just, of course, just the beginning phases of a character. So let's go ahead and create the legs. So when you're looking at proportion, you're thinking about, how big legs are. Legs on a human being is half the size, half the length of a human being. So if you ever look at a human being, you'll see that their legs are half the length. So the crotch would be in the very center. So let's go ahead and look at that. Right here. So if you look at human proportion, right, you're gonna see hips are at the middle. Okay, the crotch area right there is usually at the middle. Okay, and for women it's generally the same thing. And you want to stretch these proportions depending on what you want to achieve. Like if you want to look like a god, you make them bigger, their chest size is bigger. You would look very different. Um, you know, hero proportions. So, when you're looking at superhero proportions, you're going to get a completely different thing. You're going to get, look at this, fashion models, the normal human being is like this. And then idealistic, they stretch you out. Okay, it all depends on your head size, right? And then heroic, you're like a super god. They stretch you out to 2.25 heads here. So when you're looking at these boxes, you can see the grid pattern right here. And you can see how big the head is and how big the legs are, how long the arms are, how long the legs are. In general, I try to keep it kind of proportional, but in this case, I think I'm just gonna go with kind of short stubby legs, with big feet. I think I'm gonna look at that and see if it works. I can always, of course, change it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go in here and let's take a look at where a leg needs to come out. So I figured, oops, what did I do? Oh, okay, there we go. Right here seems like a good spot to draw a leg out. So let's just extrude. Okay, so make medium point here. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay, so legs are coming out. They look okay, I guess. I guess I could reshape it here. Let's go ahead and reshape it a bit so that it looks a little bit more like round or whatever. Legs are kind of supposed to be roundish, I suppose. Oops, okay. 3D mouse going crazy. Huh. Kind of a mess to work with here. Oh well. It's my mess. It'll be fine. Huh. You know what? I gotta rethink that. Yeah, I think I made the... it's just a little bit too weird. Too wonky. Yeah, okay. Let's just reload. There we go. Didn't save it, so... let's just try that one more time. Okay. Where do I pull out the leg? Maybe I can make like a circle here. I can cut out. Let's just do a knife tool. Let's just cut out a circle right here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's just cut that out, and then we'll shape it depending on... huh, why isn't that showing up? My my 3D cursor's not showing up. Wonder why that is. Why is that not showing up? Huh, that's weird. I never had it disappear before. Huh, that is strange. That's very strange. I've never seen that before. Yeah, I've never... okay, that's... there it is. Why is that not there anymore? Oh, I see. It's because it's on the media. Ah, that's why. I knew it doesn't just disappear. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so having these selected, go ahead and extrude them out all the way down here, all the way to the floor. There we go. Much more, you know, rounder legs in some sense, you know, in some blocky sense. Alright, so let's go ahead and cut into it because I want more polygons. There we go. Yeah, just make it more round. You know, might as well. extrude it. Yeah, let's make it more round. I think that's more appropriate. Yeah, look at that. Much rounder, much nice stubby little legs. You know, kind of weird looking, I guess, on a bullet, but I mean, it's a bullet. It's gonna kind of be weird no matter what you do. Got the hands, got the thumb. I just noticed something. I don't like that thumb. It just seems like it's sticking up too much. See that? See how it's sticking up? Yeah, I don't like that. Let's bring it down so it's flat. Palms down. Always palms down because of the IK. The IK chain is always going to mess up all the time. If you have your thumb sticking upwards, if you don't do palms down, the IK chain, when you go to rig your character, it's gonna be all screwed up. You don't want that. I actually I didn't know that when I started creating characters, and I was rigging my character, and I would always put the thumb straight up like he's doing a thumbs up kind of thing. And I didn't realize that it had to be palms down, and it just, the IK just kept messing up. I had no idea what was wrong, and I asked the person on YouTube what was wrong, and he said, oh, your palms need to be facing down or else the IK chain isn't gonna register correctly. And that's not written anywhere. There's no information about that, and that is like completely out there. Something that nobody ever talks about. So let's go ahead and cut some loops here. Let's do a knee joint. Let's do some polys around the knees so that it bends correctly when we go to animate. Let's go ahead and save that. And then now we're gonna go ahead and create some feet. So let's create some chains for the feet, some polygons, I mean. Alright, so let's get out of there. Get some feet out here, you know. You gotta move it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oops. Okay. Sort of looking like a foot. You know, kind of more like a shoe almost. You know, let's just make shoes on this guy. Oops. Okay. View. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Let's just do global. Yeah. Nice foot shape. There we go. Okay. Usually you can put a subdivision right here so that the foot bends. Let's just do that so that it all bends and it all looks kind of neat. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, alright. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's take a look at this guy. Yeah. Make it flat. Look at how blocky that is. Smooth it out. Yeah, that does look like feet. What do you think? Kind of feetish. They look like a feet. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I could see that being animated. I think that'd be kind of funny. Kind of looks like a bullet with arms and legs. Little skinny legs and arms. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah. We could go with the really short stubby leg look and have really big feet, you know, kind of like a Mickey Mouse feet with little tiny short legs, you know. I think Mickey Mouse had really big feet. Yeah, he had really big feet. Look how big his feet are. His feet are bigger than his head. Look at those feet. Look at that. Look at his big hands. Cartoon. I don't know what all this is. Kind of weird. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, that's how you get. Oh, that's it. Chibi. I was thinking about that. Chibi. Look, yeah, look at that big giant head. That's like, look at his body. His head is as big as the rest of his body. I love the chibi look. I think it looks really funny. Yeah, chibi characters. They're always really funny. I had actually made, what is it? Some chibi characters in the past, and I thought they were really fun to make because you can make them basically do anything. Yeah, ninjas or you know, cutesy animals or whatever. But yeah, I think that they're actually pretty funny. Okay, let's go back to see if I'm still recording. Yeah, I'm still recording. Alright, so let's see here. I got the legs, so I think that really concludes the this part 2. I think I'm pretty much done. Next after, now that the modeling's done. Modeling always takes a while. Armature is next. I'm gonna build an armature model. Oh wait, let's do some UV mapping. Okay, let's do UV mapping. So UV mapping, always got to do that. Mark a seam. Spin around. Mark a seam. Mark a seam. So generally you want to do it in, you know, the seam in a position that nobody can see. So I always like doing it in the inside of the legs so that nobody can ever see. Oops. They can never see the seam ever. It is impossible for them to see it unless you're, you know, really looking out for it. And usually what I do is I cut off the rest of the foot. So this foot is gonna be its own thing. So, you know, so the leg is separated from the foot, right? And that always seems to help a lot. Now at the foot, usually people would unwrap from the back, and I just unwrap from the sides here. Right there, we could cut right there so that it unwraps. And then what you can do is mark a seam. Mark a seam. Let's see here. You can do much different things. You can cut out the sole of the foot. Let's just cut off the sole. Let's just make the sole its own thing, you know, because nobody ever sees the sole anyways. It's just dirt. I mean, it's not going to be anything spectacular when it comes to texture mapping. So it's going to unwrap around this way. So let's go ahead and cut this out. We'll just cut that out. And we'll cut this out so that it unwraps right here and folds along these lines. So that should probably work. That will be fine. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's take a gander at how that's going to look. texture mapping, unwrap. Bam. Get that. Get that. Yeah, see, that works just fine. It's got its own texture down here on the foot. And you can see the seam coming on the side here, so if the player happens to see it, you know, seams, it's hard to hide seams. Even when you're like texture painting and you're like really detailed about texture painting, seams are still hard to see. I mean, I would see seams in like Blizzard games, like professional artists making $90,000 a year. Like, even they have seams. I mean, they can't get those seams perfect, you know, because in a game engine, when you start to zoom out on a character, the seams, what happens is the rendering engine starts to blend over the textures. I forget what it's called, but basically you start to see the textures change, right? Because as farther you go, the textures, they're going to map it, and the textures are going to get smaller and smaller. As they get smaller and smaller, those seams are going to be more and more visible. So even in high-end professional games, you're going to see those seams, because as the camera backs up, the rendering engine is going to map those textures. They're going to shrink those textures, and as those textures are getting shrunk, all that detail that you spent as an artist, making sure you're like zoomed up, making sure it's all perfect, that's all gone. All of that, the mip mapping just completely wrecks that, and it has to mip map. I mean, objects that are far away can't can't hang up the rendering engine, right? So it's going to have to mip map those textures, and then that's just going to destroy everything. So that's why it's so important to hide your seams. So important to hide it, because even as a totally professional artist, you're never going to hide that. You're always going to suffer. You will always suffer with that. That'll be your suffering. That's your hell or whatever, purgatory. I don't know. I don't know that well, but I think he's done with modeling. I think modeling, I mean, I guess I can add more to his mouth to make his mouth more round, but I don't see this character talking very much. I mean, what do you think he's going to say? Boom? You know, I mean, he's just going to open his mouth. I mean, let's take a look here. He's just going to go blah, 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 right? I mean, he's not going to say anything that important, you know. He's just going to go blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, that's not ad clipping. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's all I'm going to do, really. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, raise his mouth and lower it, right? Sort of looks like a triangle almost, you know. Blah, blah, blah. And he's frowning. Now he's frowning. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and add some more, because I feel that maybe we ought to. So let's go ahead and do this. Cut out this. Then we're going to cut out right here. Alright, let's do that. Alright. Wacky camera. Alright, there we go. Much smoother. Okay, let's go ahead and cut from here to there. Yes, perfect. And this one will go from here to there. Bam. Okay, let's take a look at our cuts. Alright, let's take a look. Yeah, perfect cuts. Perfect cuts. Thank you. Thank you so much. Alright. Let's I usually check for any overlapping Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to tools, remove doubles. move doubles. Okay, yeah. Unselected. Okay, yeah, it's just gonna do selected. Remove 0 vertices, so that's good. I removed the eyeballs because I don't want the eyeballs merging. There might be some overlap with the vertices on here. You know, like these two right here might overlap and it would merge, and I don't want that to merge. So I deselected those. That's good. Good news. Don't want overlapping vertices. When you're using the knife tool, what happens is sometimes you miss a merge, and you'll click this to merge it with that, right? You'll be like, okay, K, and then you'll be like click, but it didn't actually merge onto that vertex, right? See how it snaps to that vertex right there? Well, that's a huge problem. What happens is they're minusculely off. I was knifing a character one time and I messed up the mouth. I made the mouth like super complicated, right? And I didn't click on the actual vertex, right? And so what happened was it clicked on the edge here, so they were just next to each other. So when I go into remove doubles, you know, you'll click on it, merge distance, and you'll increase the merge distance, and you'll start seeing things merge together. It'll come up here as a as merged, right? So you'll see how many vertices are getting merged based on your distance, and you keep increasing the distance right there. And let's go ahead and make this a little bit more out there. Okay, there we go. More like lips, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to. It's hard to tell what to do, really, because it's kind of. I mean, it's for a simple character that's supposed to be in like a game engine. You don't want to have all this complicated stuff unless you're going to use it. See, the eyeballs, I love the vertices there because I'm going to actually use those. He's going to move his eyes. He's going to close his eyes. You got to have all his vertices there. With his mouth, I don't really see the point. You know. Here, let's go ahead and play with it. Let's just see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and use the connected proportional editing. You can press O. And you press Shift O or Control O. Nope. Okay, no, not Control O. Alt O, I believe. Alt O. There we go. Okay. Alt O does connected, and you could do sphere. I think it does root. I think it's on root, but doesn't matter. Anyways, so now we can play with it. Blah 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 blah. See that? See how it's bending better? It used to just be like just a triangle shape. See, now it's much smoother. Zoom out here. Blah 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 blah. See, now he can move his mouth. Yeah, okay. His mouth can move, and it looks a little bit better than just a fucking, just a little triangle square mouth. Slightly better, so that when I connect bones to it, because I always use bones. I don't really like using blend shapes. Blend shapes are hard to animate in Unity. They don't animate very well. You have to go into Unity and animate inside a Unity editor, and well, that's just really, I don't like that. Oops. Okay. Oh. Huh. I wonder why it's not. Yeah, okay, that's undoing it. Okay. I don't know, undo wasn't working right. Let's say I was undoing something that I didn't want to undo here. Let me check my rig. Yeah, okay, everything's there still. Okay, so what was I talking about? Um, yeah, basically I'm gonna put bones on the mouth, okay? Because if you use blend shapes, you have to go into Unity, and when you go into Unity, um, you have to animate inside of Unity, and it just doesn't work right. I believe I already said that, but eh. Now with the knees, you could, let's go ahead and, you know what, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and move it forward so that they're bent, you know, just slightly. You just need to slightly bend them so that the IK works. And IK generally works with legs. It's just the arms where the palm has to be facing down. That's where the problems come from. The arms. It's always the arms. I guess he looks alright. Now, when I start animating, when I rig him and animate him, I'm going to test the animation. And I can actually add in polygons, like if there's bending, crimping, you know, like a straw where a straw would crimp. If there's any kind of weird animation artifacts like that, I just simply add in, you know, another loop like this, okay? Or somewhere around there. You know, all I have to do is that. That's all I have to do. I don't have to, you know, do it right now. I can do it later. Yeah. All right. Well, let's. I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this tutorial. This guy is officially, totally done. All right.